dear Lord, we thank you for this another day that you've given us. We thank you for your many blessings upon us, upon our country. We thank you for our freedom, Lord. God, we thank you for our community. Lord, I just ask today that you would please be with each one of us. Help us to have the wisdom to make the right decisions for our community and lead us through these days ahead. God, we ask that your hand would continue to be upon us, and we thank you for all you do for us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Next on the agenda is approval of the minutes for September 8th and September 22nd. Any reason you can't take them again?
I don't either. I'll second.
Motion and second, any other discussion? Ms. Morse?
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Coleman?
Yes.
Mr. Booth?
Yes.
Mr. Herman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Next will be our approval of monthly disbursements. Now, I don't know who started putting these numbers and stuff up in the corner, but man, I thank y'all for doing this.
Now, you may have to look at Terry's idea.
Excellent.
Oh, man,
It is very nice.
yeah. Really helped me out.
This is the shuffling.
It does that.
Fertilizer. Don't worry, it's not a big thing. Too big. Well, it could be.
Y'all ready? I'll entertain a motion to approve it.
So move.
Second.
Motion and second. Any other discussion? What?
Mr.
Yes.
Mr. Coleman?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Booth?
Yes.
Mr. Herman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Somebody else will get rid of these masks, so they may be defrosted.
That's put it way down here like it.
Oh, now you breathe.
Like the school teacher
Yeah,
used
that's
to.
what I'm at, be, you know. Can we get a fuels or?
We need to get Lavina, she's next on the agenda.
Oh, 8:30, how's her? I can't tell time.
No, no, you're not.
No, what you should have said, we're trying to reach you about your car warranty.
Yes, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
You hear me now?
everyone there?
You'll wait just a moment for Linda to come back, please.
I'm watching YouTube and it hasn't appeared yet. Maybe I missed it, but
I'm watching it on there from my phone. Ask her to
Okay.
refresh her.
I'm on the channel and it still says waiting for it to start, but okay.
Tell her to refresh.
Tabitha said refresh it. She's watching it. These things we gotta.
All right.
Okay, Linda's back. You can go ahead.
Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Morning.
I just wanted to, I trust that you got the page in the packet about the new fast track broadband program. And when we shared that in the packet, we had not yet talked with Steve Durbin. But I was in touch with him yesterday, and you should have a new page, I think Tabitha shared with you this morning, with an update on that.
That was this one on top.
Let me give you a moment. Do you all have that?
Yeah, I have.
Great, okay. There's a page in the Treasury guidance about CARES funds. You can see at the top of the page about whether it can be used to extend rural broadband. And it can if it's for the purpose of distance learning, telework, or public or health reasons as it shares elsewhere. So Steve feels like this covers the situation, but he said for added assurance, he would recommend that for each household to be eligible, if you all wanted to pursue this funding, that we would ask them to indicate one of the following questions. You see them listed there, but they relate to, is someone in the household need broadband for telework or for distance learning or for telemedicine? So that would cover, we would serve people who indicated yes to one of those questions.
So Ladina,
Yes.
let me understand then. So this is not just going down somebody's long driveway where Citizens already has service. Are you saying that Citizens could add service to a road?
There are a number of households around the county where there's already fiber along the road, but people can't afford to extend it. Some people might have 2,000 foot driveway,
Right.
or they might be on a private road where there's not fiber. This program specifically called out that it can serve long driveways and private roads. That from the state, this program specifically calls that out. So Citizens has identified a number of households around the county that meet that particular criteria. What we have not done yet is seen if they meet one of the other three criteria that Steve alluded to.
Okay. So new service, new fiber service will not be covered by this grant.
I'm not understanding.
Alright, so if Citizens does not have a line yet out on a road, if they have not completed the fiber work, if they don't have fiber,
If it's not on the public road,
Right.
that will not help.
okay, that's what I wanted to make sure I had clarity on that, thank you.
Yeah,
This is
yeah, that's
coming
not
off
an
their
eligible
trunk
expense
line.
either.
Off of a trunk line, correct, off of a line.
Have you talked to Citizens yet as far as them being able to identify and complete this by December 30th?
Yes, there are more households with this need than they can complete by December 30th, but they have worked on the list and narrowed the list down to what they can complete. We're looking at probably around 50 households or so, and of course it's going to be an absolute hard work to get that done. My biggest concern is how quickly we would hear back from the granting agency. They assure us that they're approving them on a rolling basis and reviewing them quickly when they get them in. But I'm assuming that we're 3 weeks out at least from the start of, if we were to get this money, being able to do the work.
Is this,
So they're trying to be conservative in their estimate. So in other words, you know, if there are 75 houses that need it, they won't be able to put all of them into this. But that's okay, because that gives us backup if some of the initial 50 can't indicate yes to one of these 3 questions, then we go to a different one.
Gotcha.
does, shoot, I lost it. This will be citizens spending the money and then being reimbursed from this grant?
Correct. And
Alright.
my understanding is this money, unlike most grants, would actually be conveyed to the county, but you would still be
Gotcha.
reimbursing citizens' work.
And what are they using for the qualifying factor for the 50 that they can do? Are they
The
using?
qualifying factor is, my understanding is if it's a driveway or a private road of more than 1,000 feet.
Yeah, because they will do up to 1,000 feet is my understanding.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
They have typically done up to 1,000 feet. In this particular project, they may only cover the first 200 feet because they're probably going to be paying a premium to get this work done in time.
And they are gonna be able to bounce around the county with the contractor or whoever's doing it.
Some of this is their own in-house.
Well, even, I know some of it
Yeah.
is, but, I'm just concerned that some of the main ones that may need it the worst or can't afford it, is income any part of this? Or is it just the distance from the road over 1,000 feet and these 3 questions?
Yeah, income has not been part of it to this point. If that's something that you all would like to see, then we can definitely talk about that with them.
I think the issue with income is then you've got to pay for the fiber.
Yeah.
Service, I mean, if you're extremely low income, you may not be able to afford
A monthly bill.
monthly bill for the fiber.
Well, you all may be aware that the citizens have had a program for a while, I think it's called Student Connect,
Yeah.
where students in the past who qualified for a free or reduced lunch got a discounted
Right.
rate. I think it was $10 a month for service. Now, I don't know what they're doing now that everybody's getting free lunch, but I'm sure that they have some criteria to help students that need it for school get access at a much reduced rate.
Well, that's where I was going with it, with the access for students and the family's ability to pay, and I understand they're gonna be able to pay a bill to begin with, but I was just wondering if there was any kind of criteria or.
Well, this isn't underwriting the actual bills, this is just getting the fiber to the home.
Right.
I would assume here.
Right, I understand. But I was just after the criteria for qualifying for this grant.
You were saying you would prefer if somebody had the ability to pay. If you had a millionaire with a long driveway,
Yeah.
you'd hate for them to go to the front of the list, some poor student, and not be able to get it.
Yeah.
Sure, we can talk about that, or add that to the questionnaire. What would you like it to be?
Could we just prioritize maybe, this distance learning right now? I think that's really
But Dana, what's the distance again from the trunk line to the house? You can,
My understanding is it's greater than 1,000, at least 1,000 feet is what they've looked at for the people that they've identified.
so anybody, say, 250 feet from the trunk line that can't afford it, it's not gonna help them?
Well, Citizens already covers, historically, Citizens already covers everything up to 1,000 feet. So that's why citizens doesn't go farther than 1,000, so that's where this program would pick up the people that they haven't been able to serve in the past. So no one's going to go without if they're less than 1,000. This is just helping people that are beyond what Citizens has regularly covered.
Yeah, I'm kind of going on Jerry's thoughts about if there's a student in the home, that should be a priority.
And by priority, you mean that's the only ones you want to serve?
No, not me. I would like it to be, though, if there are students in the home, they jump to the front of the line. That's
Okay.
my feeling. Because I think that we are right now needing to make sure that students can get what they need to do what they need to keep pace with their learning
Sure.
in these challenging times.
Sure.
I mean, I've got a question about the telework requirement.
Okay.
I'm just thinking of so many people in the county that are self-employed, that I don't know what maybe y'all have in mind as far as that, with some of the other things that we're doing, trying to encourage people to do online sales and different things like that. Would that come into play there, or would this have to be somebody that has
That's a great point. I think we should clarify that telework doesn't have to be being employed by someone else. It can be operating your own business.
Right.
That's a great point.
It just seemed like it maybe go hand in hand with a small business that's trying to become more
That's
online, and then fiber would really help them there.
That's a great point. I'm going to add that, because either one would be telework. It's really someone's livelihood, I think, that it
Right.
really should
That
probably
requires-
speak to.
Yeah, that
Thank
would
you.
encompass everything.
Yes, right.
Might even drag you into the computer.
Sounds like a great program, though. I'm all in favor.
I do find it interesting with the state wanting to get broadband everywhere that they would, I don't know, it would just seem that they would, I don't know. I mean, I'm not complaining, and I'm glad to see any money for folks that can help with broadband, but this seems like, I can't remember the analogy that's sometimes used, it's like a drop in the bucket, but any drop is good.
Well, I think this is probably them trying to figure out how to get their CARES dollars out the door before the end of the year.
Yeah, I got you. That's probably the case.
Well, several of the localities have already used their money.
Right.
We just hadn't had a need for that.
No.
We're really fortunate.
We're fortunate with citizens.
That's something that comes up a lot of videos.
Oh,
So many
absolutely.
counties, when you see a county like Montgomery County next door, and normally they have all the resources. It's just,
Right.
we're really fortunate to be able to have something.
There was an article in the paper about that yesterday.
Montgomery, I don't know how many hotspots they said, around the county.
Oh, yeah,
There's students.
there are so many places that don't have any
A lot of
kind
the
of internet.
representatives that they go from Northern Virginia, Tidewater, they just freak out when they start hearing what we hear
Oh, yeah.
every year.
Oh, yeah.
You know, talking with them, they can't
Yeah, they
believe
can't believe it.
that
People
our
who
little
live 100
county.
miles from Richmond don't have any
Access.
access.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, they'd be happy with just not even fiber, just anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Ladina, you were thinking 400,000?
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, authorizing a project of up to 400,000, and citizens would put in at least 20 for that first couple of 100 feet, in this case. So I'm thinking it's gonna be around, 50 households. So that, if you all are inclined to pursue this, that would be my request of authorizing a project up to $400,000 and a grant request up to $380,000. Realizing that our actual application later this week could go lower than that, because again, we'll be scaling it to what they think they can accomplish.
And that's prioritizing homes with the school-aged children in them.
Yes, if that's what you all want to do, that's definitely what we'll do.
I'd like number one to be students, yeah. Yep.
I'd like to get as many as possible.
Yeah.
I think there's probably gonna be some students that it won't work because they don't have fiber by their house yet.
Right.
Right. There are some.
But all we can do is try and help the
Correct.
ones.
That was why I started off with that one question, you know, is this gonna in any way help those that don't?
So we need motion to,
I would approve this.
I'm sorry, Terry, would they have a second, couple of pages that includes the certification, and I just wanted to mention to them as well that if there had been, driveways in the town or private roads in the town that had not been served, we would be obligated to share this with them, but Citizens Engineering, confirms that there is not, and I also checked with the town manager yesterday to see if they have any broadband project that would be eligible, and they do not. So the chairman or the leader of this for the state confirmed to me yesterday that we do not have to set aside any of it for the town, since they do not have an eligible project.
I need a motion authorizing the project up to $400,000 and the grant request up to $380,000.
I make that motion and for you to sign all documents necessary.
Yeah. Chairman and the treasurer and I signed these.
Okay?
Second.
Yeah, that's all right.
Motion and second, any other discussion?
Thank you both for being so on top of this. This is really important for this community. Absolutely.
There's more.
Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Garrett?
Yes.
Mr. Booth?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you all.
Thanks, Ladina.
Thank you all very much. We really appreciate you making time for us this morning.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Ladina.
Thank you all. Bye.
Time for a couple of yours.
First thing you have is the subdivision plat, September. Glad if there's any questions or concerns back to this time.
Let's see what it is. Jumped out of there.
The next item is appointment to the planning commission for the Little River District. We will have interviews later in the morning. If you defer that, please. We didn't receive any applications for the EDA unexpired term.
That's so odd. Very odd.
I have another idea for that if we can talk about it when we go in closed session, if you'd like.
Okay. Yeah.
Next item is the resolution for your preparation of the second quarter budget.
Mr. Chairman, if you're ready, I'll make the motion.
All right.
I would make a motion that we approve the second quarter appropriations with one amendment that doesn't change the bottom line. That is that we move the funding from contingency to the appropriate line item to start a one-step pay increase starting December 1. For the county employees, yes, not ourselves, I'm sorry.
That would be county employees and not constitutional officers.
County employees. And the numbers I've been given and come up with, the total to do it for the full 7 months would be $29,530. So for the month of December, it would be around $4,218.
How are accounts receivable done?
4,200.
If the number,
Up to
Our
December.
revenues are,
for the month of December, it would be
I think
$42,1858.
some things are about what we expected and some things are a little lower.
So revenues and some things are on track, but in some areas they are lower.
Correct.
Are they,
We haven't been spending as much either.
right?
Due to the nature of the motion, I wouldn't, since it's not including anybody in constitutional offices, I don't need to make a statement. Is that correct? And I'll second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
I'd like to make one clarification, and that is, that number was from January 1, not December 1.
What number?
The 29,000?
Yeah. I did it from January 1, it's half the year.
Easily figured.
Right.
29,530 divided by 6 equals be 49,2166. That would be the total amount. That would be in this quarter. Right.
How much contingency have we spent so far?
We haven't.
I don't know what's all sticking in.
With this appropriation, we would be about halfway of what we should be halfway, being the second quarter.
People can use it. They can use it big time.
So, are there, I'm trying to, so for example, some of the positions we fund, like offices, are still constitutional offices. So there's some that are state funded, some are county funded, but that's still constitutional. So we wouldn't be, none of those would be getting. What about, like, I guess the treasurer's office? Nobody there would be getting anything. So this would be solid waste, EMS,
Yeah. Thanks here.
folks here, rec, library. Do we know if the state's doing anything for the constitutional officers now? Have we heard anything about that?
The last I heard, they were proposing a bonus, and one group was proposing a bonus, one group was proposing a pay increase, and the rest of them didn't want to do anything. Which is our normal general assembly session.
we get through the budget.
Yeah. So this, what you're proposing is starting December 1st.
December 1st.
And this appropriation is for the second quarter, so.
December 1st will be the last month of this quarter.
So, in December, we could, if this didn't pass, we could come in and do a 1% raise starting January 1st on the third quarter. I'm just thinking it through that out loud.
Any other discussion? Motion and a second.
Mr. Yoder?
No.
Ms. Cooper?
Before I vote, I just want to say that I find every single person in this county worthy of a raise. I know there are many people that are still out of work, and I am not passing judgment on anybody, but I will have to vote no.
Mr. Coleman?
Yes.
Mr. Booth?
Yes.
Mr. Terman?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you all. I know your employees will appreciate it.
We'll go ahead and open the floor for public comment. If there's anyone here wishing to make a public comment. Sheriff's going to talk, so I guess I'll close the public comment period. We'll go on, here's Morris.
The next item is your voting credentials for the VACO meeting. You may want to discuss this in correlation with item I, your change of meeting dates. On the resolution, I did put the November meeting as November 17th if you all wanted to attend the VACO meeting virtually.
Right?
What you've done in the past is have one meeting in November and one meeting in December.
Probably going to need other meetings.
Well, you have to do those a little different when you're interviewing.
Right. But yeah, this makes sense to free up.
Yeah, we're gonna need.
Yeah, I'm gonna, yeah, right.
Yeah,
it has.
there's a whole different set of regulations when you're interviewing this position
Yeah.
as far as notification.
What number was that? Ah. Yeah, I still have to register. It's just been crazy. I ignored it, but I can still register, right? You can still.
Yeah. I didn't register any of you when you decided what day you wanted.
I've already took care of
You've already
mine.
registered.
Oh, you did? Okay. So which one do we do first then? What do we?
You'll go ahead with number E.
Do the resolution first.
Yeah.
I need a motion to
Seven.
change the monthly meetings in November, December.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Yoder?
Yes.
Mr. Coleman?
Yes.
Mr. Booth?
Yes.
Mr. Terman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Now I need voting credentials here. Yeah,
Smart
boys.
business meeting on Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
I'll ask if Sarah wants to do it. Be there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I may be out of town that week, so I definitely don't know.
I will be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be doing others too. It needs to be, I mean, I think it should be one of y'all since it's a sitting board member. I'm gonna be doing.
Yeah, you're gonna be doing board stuff.
I'm not planning on going, so.
Not with my situation coming up.
I'll be there.
That's a good point. Just to be there.
Second.
You will be the one doing it.
You want to alternate also?
I don't think anybody else would be there.
Just
You
move
do
for
Are you
alternate?
gonna be, or?
It has to be a board member
I
to
think,
find
why
out.
don't we?
Well, I thought it said a board member or.
Yeah, I can actually be the alternate. You got other stuff?
Well, I don't know what else is going on. This is my first round and my first meeting, so.
Yeah, but it's
I
a
don't know.
first.
I don't think you'll have anything in conflicts on that.
No.
Okay, well, then I can be
Because
there.
this is the last meeting of the,
Right.
if it's done like normally, this is the last meeting of the whole night.
Well, I don't know, everything's,
Everything's all
you know how
up in the
they
air.
are.
I don't care.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm stressed out.
Whoever y'all want.
December the 20th.
Just make sure Jerry do it. Okay.
All right, I'll be the alternate.
That was in your motion.
That was in my motion. We require us to move people.
Right.
Wasn't asking. That's the way you do it.
You've had in motion.
I've been in motion.
So, I have a motion on that. And a motion second. And a motion second. Ms. Morris?
Mr. Coleman?
Yes.
Mr. Yoder?
Yes.
Mr. Booth?
Yes.
Mr. Booth?
Abstain.
Mr. Thurman?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item is a road name request, naming of Harvey's Lane. This request is coming to you for our policy of naming roads when the third dwelling is added.
I just have one question if I can. I take it on coming from Stonewall Road
Yeah, Stonewall, right.
across from there to 2356. The part we're talking about naming is the one that goes back to 2351.
Right on the line. Yeah, you're exactly right.
Well, how are you gonna name two separate roads the same name?
That's right back here. In the box up
The
here.
roads are the most street address.
Well, I understand that, but that would be treated like a driveway off of the road.
That's what
So the bearing to the left would be the road we're actually naming, not the part that shoots off to the right.
Yes.
Well, it's a shared driveway.
That would be the,
Probably the only part you're naming is the first piece across the creek.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we've got three garage in there.
kind of peculiar how it's like out there.
Yeah.
well, that's why I was looking the way they got it painted out there. I wanted to,
I guess we're just showing the rest of it.
because there has to be, you know, there are definitely two different roads there, whether private or otherwise.
It's kind of like the driveway at our house. You know, it's gonna be like all of that's breezeway, then it splits off. Right. All those houses are breezeway.
Yeah, but the main part is and then the others are just private driveways off of it,
Which is the same here.
which is what I'm saying here,
Really, the only thing you're naming is the entrance.
Pretty much.
Just giving them
Because
a marker.
you're just giving a marker at the entrance.
Yep, giving them a sign.
What's that help?
It's it.
well, I just wanted to understand what we were doing. Because when I seen all the paint for all three of them, I think, okay.
Because you're not making a public right away of any kind. It's all you need is 5 feet to park it there.
Sometimes we use lane as private driveways. Right.
Yeah, looks good to me.
All right, do I have a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that, we name Harvey's Lane off of Stonewall Road. New roadway.
Second.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes?
Mr. Coleman?
Yes.
Mr. Yoder?
Yes.
Mr. Booth?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Motion. Next item is scheduling a public hearing for the Junebug Center tax exemption request. This was brought to you last month for your consideration. I did go back through our files for several years for other requests that we might have received. The only two that I found in the last 5 years were already exempt under the state code. One was for a church fellowship hall, and the other was for the little bit of Boy Scout property that's in Floyd County. I didn't find anything for historical.
It would have been,
You think it was before that?
oh, yeah. Yeah, it would have been, 10 years ago.
If I look back through, we have files specifically for them,
Yeah.
and I didn't see anything.
I think it would have been. I may be wrong.
I can go back
It
further.
doesn't matter. It was more of a curiosity to me. I didn't want to be fair to them.
Sure.
I was rereading some of that paperwork after our last meeting and Steve's comment. It was my understanding that if it's something that classifies as educational, then it automatically applies. But I got from his statements and stuff that we needed more than that. It needed to work worded in such a way it met the other criteria, and I'm sorry I didn't bring in additional paperwork with me, but
Yeah, there's a list in the state code that they have to answer. Of course, they met all those.
but they met that set of criteria, didn't they?
Yes,
Yeah.
But it's still not automatic. It's still.
No, it's up to this
Yeah,
board.
right.
You can thank the General Assembly in Lynchburg for that. I remember it well.
All these requests used to have to go to the General Assembly.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't come through us.
And they had one major falling out down in Lynchburg, and they decided, we're not doing this anymore, and they shoved it off on localities.
Yeah, too many things.
Do more research, or your next step is to schedule a public hearing?
I don't know, I think we're,
Well, I'm kinda like Lauren was, if the majority of this board's not interested in doing it, I wouldn't waste the time on you. I believe you mentioned last time. But
I mean, what they're doing is educational.
oh, absolutely. A majority of it, if not all of it,
Yeah.
in some form.
Absolutely.
I would be willing to go forward with the public hearing, and unless,
Yeah, I know, I am.
and I'd also like to talk to Steve a little more about this educational part, because I know that educational stuff does meet the criteria. But that's just me, then you get 4 others.
Well, I may have to abstain. I sit on the Junebug board along with many other community leaders, so
Well, then you
I
should.
probably will abstain, but I did want to mention that it is all educational for the most part.
Steve will be here a little later on.
You may want to ask Steve, you may not, because you probably don't financially benefit from it, you may not need this thing.
Well, this is true, yeah, I don't financially benefit from it at
I'm
all.
just saying you probably want to ask Steve.
Yeah, we'll ask you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ask Steve.
Yep.
See And sometimes, you know,
Maybe we
have
table
to,
it?
well, sometimes we have to make perception.
Right.
Correct, yeah,
As
perception,
individuals,
yeah.
I'm not telling you to
No,
or
no,
not.
no, I agree.
But, let's hold
Yeah,
off.
absolutely.
If the board's in agreement, we'll hold off on that till we can talk to him.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I think my vote in the end will largely be determined on if I go back and find out what the board's done in the past. I just want to be fair.
Right.
I don't mind looking. I mean, I don't feel like you need to look at that. I'll look it up. That's my main concern, is that we treat everyone fairly.
I know we had an application after they switched it over to us. I know we had an application for, as far as personal property from a group, which, best I remember, we did not act on. Anyway, but I don't recall a property issue coming up. It must have been after I went off the
I may be
board.
completely wrong. It may have just been discussed, and I mean, it never actually got involved.
No, I believe it was after I went off the board, maybe. I went off in
I think it was the year
09.
before I got elected, but wow, I was coming in, but I remember, that's 10 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
Trust what I remember from yesterday.
What did you have for breakfast yesterday morning?
I didn't eat
I was
breakfast.
gonna tell him, I mean, you know, public is email, bud.
Let the record show that I've turned the chair back over to the chairman, please. You back on that fence post.
You know what they say about post turtles?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Okay, we'll do some more research then.
Talk to Steve a
Talk to
little
Steve.
bit about it.
Well, Linda probably wants to.
Yeah.
The next item is a readoption of the continuity of governance resolution. That was in effect to run out. This one goes through. the date, sorry.
6 months from the date of adoption.
We'll need to schedule a public hearing if you're, need to schedule a public hearing if you're interested in doing it.
Well,
I think you can probably adopt it on an emergency basis. Do a permanent.
I know several of the committees that I'm involved with, we still have the virtual part, and they're able to continue doing that because of this. So, I would make a motion that we set a public hearing. Did you say we could adopt it in an emergency till the public hearing?
When does our system run?
They've already run out.
When did it run out?
September 30th.
Okay.
And the states is still in place, right?
You know, I believe that, there's gonna be, from this, that there's gonna be changes, I think, to virtual meetings. I think they're gonna probably realize that it's an efficient way to do business, and everybody seems to have been able to do it. So down the road, I think we're gonna see that as a norm rather than an exception. This is my opinion, but I think that's what I'm seeing.
We can wait until Steve gets here and make sure that that's emergency ordinance.
I think that's a good idea.
Well, we could
That's
go
what
ahead
we-
and set the public hearing, though.
Sure.
Go ahead. No.
I voted against the last one, really because of one reason. And it's probably me nitpicking. And it's nothing, it's no reflection whatsoever on the staff, because I think the staff did a great job. I don't have any problems with any of it. But I don't see where, and we've been in this for 6 months now, I haven't really seen a situation where, maybe I'm wrong, you clarify if I'm wrong, but I've really seen a situation where we've needed to in some way pay bills without approval of this board. So to me, that's my only sticking point in here is it worries me when we go away from the oversight of this board. I think if we got into a bind, we could still call a virtual meeting and approve bills. And that's really been my only, I really think that we should continue with our ability to do some of the things we could do under the state of emergency. It just worries me anytime that we take control away from elected officials and give it to staff. I mean, that's still no reflection on you. I just, as a matter of policy, it kind of worries me. Especially not
I
knowing.
guess the only thing I thought about that is something happened in the middle of the night. You need to order something right then. Be the only thing.
But even in that case, you could order something. It's just actually paying the bill is the only thing that you would have to have. Well, we currently would order things that, I mean, like you don't wait to buy office supplies until we pay the bill necessarily. So, I mean, it just seemed like what would.
She's limited on what she can obligate on behalf of this board, aren't you?
Under procurement I am, but with this,
This can open things up for, if you needed something in an emergency, without procurement, you could do it. Or whoever's in your position.
And I guess my feeling is that the only other thing is there, if we don't adopt it, does it handicap us in any way from receiving funds or anything like that if we don't declare a local state of emergency? That would be my question. If it doesn't, and we're all covered by the state, then
I guess my response to that would be, I think it's just the role of leadership. I think it's a good thing to express to our local community that we are in a state of emergency or a state of heightened awareness. There's things that are going on that aren't normal, and that we're aware of it, and we're encouraging people to take what precautions they. I think it's just a role of leadership to continue that. I'm 100% behind that. I just the idea that we could spend $1 million in the middle of the night and we didn't know about it just scares me. I mean, and there's no reflection on you. January we might have somebody new here that I don't know at all. So I don't know. That part of it just really.
yeah.
I don't know why I worry so much about it, but I think more of it's just procedurally. It just kind of scares me.
Yeah, I see the procedural aspect of it.
It doesn't do away with the ability of this board to approve that this person is there after that.
But we couldn't walk it back.
Yeah, I get that. I'm just saying. It's not like it's total, I guess in my mind, there's some accountability on that aspect of it. Every staff member is aware that we're going to get that disbursement. I see what you're saying. I mean, I guess I've just seen situations where timing and trying to get things together can be difficult. Those are few and limited in between for sure.
You're talking about in your line of work?
Just in general, I
Okay.
don't want to bring that in.
Understood, because
Just,
I didn't mean to.
yeah, no, I just want to be clear for the sake of the record that I'm not bringing that in. I'm just saying things do evolve rather quickly sometimes.
Right.
There's really nothing in that paragraph. Are you looking at page 3? That's the one you're looking at. there's really nothing in there that I don't do already. It's, you know.
But really, there's no,
That's in my job description, you know, really.
yeah, no, I get that, I just. Like, I don't even know why, like, hire employees, that's something you're gonna do anyway, that we wouldn't have any, that's not,
You all don't do anything with personnel.
no, that's not.
Yeah, and that's nothing to do with an
Engage
emergency.
contractors, you're in charge, yeah. But the only thing I mean,
If I may, I think that would also encompass in an emergency situation of hiring or creating a temporary new position if the seriousness of the situation warranted it. It's not really, it's not just normal hiring and, right.
But if at some point, we had someone leave and, that's been here a long time, has been high up the scale and was making decent, pretty good money, and that position was open. This board wouldn't control it if the county administrator said, well, I've got X amount in the budget, and I'm gonna hire 2 people instead of 1 in that position. We wouldn't, technically, we wouldn't control that. So I don't know that adding a new position even is, I mean, that's
true.
We're budgeting,
In the
that's
normal,
Our budget's money in this.
our biggest concern is
Your
the
problem.
overall budget.
That's
And-
correct.
The only thing I saw in there was that, and I know we still see the bills come across the desk, it's just, I guess maybe the way it's written is like pay bills, it makes it sound like the check will be out the door and
Well,
I can take it or leave it, but it's not.
for me, I think it puts a tremendous amount of weight on the county administrator, and I think just looking at the wording, and maybe I'm getting too simple with it, but it clearly says actions objectively reasonable and necessary in the public health interest. So to me, that defines any paying of bills, anybody in that position is going to have to justify that it was reasonably necessary in public health interest, period. And that weight is for whoever's occupying either the administrator or the assistant county administrator's position to be able to articulate to this board that this was a necessary expenditure in public health interest. I mean, that's just how I've kind of navigated that, personally speaking. I mean, to me, it kind of narrows the door saying, you know, she can't go out and buy vehicles, or, you know what I mean? It's got to be necessary to the public body of Floyd County's health interest. But I'm not an attorney.
And you don't play one on TV.
I mean,
We're on YouTube.
You're on YouTube, yeah. Which is the new TV. Right.
Would you like to hold this?
Want to see
I'm probably
more
just
about?
nitpicking, I'm just,
Yeah, it might be a good idea if she thinks
it
it's.
stuck with me last time, and the reason I voted against it, and we didn't discuss, we didn't have time to discuss it, so that's why I just voted against it. I wanted to bring it up this time, maybe I'm putting the old face. But I think I would feel more comfortable saying, I don't have any issue with the county administrator, whether it be Terry or whoever it is next, with, if it's in the middle of the night, calling someone saying, we need $200,000 worth of medical supplies. I think it's just the way it's written, like pay bills. I mean, it sounds like, okay, the bills come in for X medical supplies, and now we're gonna write checks about it going through the door. I think it's more the way it's written. I don't have any issue with it. If there's something you need to.
Well, what if you just struck pay bills?
I mean, I almost feel more like encumber funds or something. Like, I don't mind somebody. I think it's the idea of the check leaving before we approve it.
Or
Does that make sense?
possibility of.
Right, yeah, the possibility. I'm not saying anybody. I don't think we're doing that. I just.
Approve necessary expenditures.
Something like that would probably be more.
That might be better than pay bills. Or,
Yeah, just something. I guess when I read that, it just struck me as like the money could be gone. We didn't even know about it before it. Like I said, I'm just nitpicking, but it
And then I.
well, one of us would have to sign the check.
that's lucky.
Yeah.
I mean,
but it's still. I mean, it's still. Yeah, I just like the idea of everything coming before the whole board.
Yeah.
So you don't,
Yeah.
I just think, like I said, I think subject to
Sure.
the public health crisis.
Sure.
I mean, it's not just.
What was the wording you came up with, Terry?
Approve necessary expenditures.
I can live with
Yeah, that's
that.
fine.
Does that,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what she does now, that's what the
Yeah,
position does
No,
now.
I know what we're doing, I just, when I read that, it just really, I don't know what it.
Just leave that till.
It just stuck right there and wouldn't go nowhere.
But it just, it's something about, like, I wanna see there's a certain way you do things, and if it just seemed like it wasn't, like we've done this long enough now, I think our issues aren't necessarily, we could have some type of virtual meeting, and just go and
Yeah.
vote on something if we had to
Yeah, I
actually
don't
cut a
know,
check.
I don't know if it's, and I don't know if it's still necessary or not, and this would go for 6 months?
Given the situation,
To the end of December.
I was gonna suggest go to December 30th and then reevaluate our situation at that time.
I would feel a little more comfortable with that. Yeah, I would feel a lot more comfortable with that.
Do you think anything's gonna change in the next 3 months?
I don't know.
Another election? But I mean, seriously, COVID's not going away.
No, it's not, and I just
No,
don't
but
know
I
the
don't know if
necessity
you're gonna
of
see a
all this.
continuation of the state, I don't know how long you're gonna see a continuation of the state's emergency.
Oh, okay.
Right? It may be
And
longer.
especially,
What does the states run to right now?
and it's, it doesn't the last time though, that's what bothers me, it could be done away with just as quick as it,
This might be a good question to ask Steve too.
if we're gonna go with it, then, yeah, I would think about going to December 30th and then we'd look at it again.
31st, I guess.
My only concern is that we're only gonna have 3 meetings before now and then, so if we hold a public hearing on this one in December, in October, we'd have to hold a public hearing in December
Well, but-
for the one starting
November.
in November. So it's not, we don't have that many meetings between now and the end of December, but we don't always hold back-to-back public hearings on it.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
But, or till the end of January, or, you know. I just think we need to be somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it, I'm just, if we do it, the next meeting, we need to schedule the next public hearing.
Yeah, at the next meeting, schedule the next one, because
Yeah.
we're going there, yeah, I see what you're saying.
And shall remain in full force and effect until amended or rescinded by further executive order. So that's open-ended. So there is no end date.
You know, what I'm saying.
Yep. That was signed the 26th day of May.
You
So
know,
this one would run
I
until,
don't, you know, I don't know.
6 months. I know.
I expect it to, depending on what happens in the General Assembly, it could be rescinded by the governor anytime after election day.
I just don't see that, because I think cases are going up. So.
Yep, everywhere.
I don't see a solution in the future right now.
If politics wasn't playing in it, I would agree with you 100%.
As far as the state goes, there's not
6 months.
There's not gonna be as much of a change in the state. I mean, I hope not. Next year's the election year, so.
Right.
That's the worst and the best thing about Virginia is we have to have elections every single year, which just keeps everything stirred up all the time.
So it will go until April.
It'd be a whole lot easier if they just did it once every 20 years. Wouldn't be hers, Reggie.
It's that fault.
Depends on which side of the fence, which side of the fence post you want to fall over on.
You know, like a life sentence to me. I'm all counted. Phew.
What we gonna do on this?
I'd like to
Wait
Mr.
on Steve.
Yep, yeah, I'd like to.
Alrighty.
Need a motion, so should I put the guys real after something?
Somebody's writing down, keeping up with what we.
Yeah, I've got a file.
file.
I got a file.
That's all I had under my report, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, and I don't see no constitutional officers, so I don't guess anybody wants to break that, man.
Yeah, I would refuse it either.
I would jump the chance.
Yeah, we can take a few minute break, cause,
Sell some meat.
I heard him say break.
I know, that's what I mean.